You know, if you think the latest update to broadcast television is just about getting a sharper picture, you really need to think again. What we're talking about with ATSC 3.0, or Next Gen TV as you might have heard it called, isn't just an update. No, it's a complete, ground-up reinvention of broadcasting for the internet age. So let's dive into what makes this such a massive leap forward.
Now, this explainer is based on a really comprehensive report by Virtualization Options LLC. And for this one, we're going to focus specifically on a key section that gets into the critical differences in tech and business between the old standard and the new one. This is where we get into the real nuts and bolts of the whole transformation.
All right, we're going to break this down into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with the core technology, then see what new experiences it unlocks. After that, we'll get into how it changes the money side of things, look at the long road to get there, and finally, wrap up by asking what this all really means for the future of broadcast.
Okay, so let's get right into the engine room. This whole revolution really starts with 2 massive fundamental changes to the underlying technology. And these changes completely redefine what a broadcast signal can even do. So the single biggest change is this shift from a single carrier system called 8VSB to a multi-carrier one called OFDM. Now think of the old signal as one big rigid highway. If there's a pothole, or in our case, a signal bouncing off a building, it can cause a total wreck. But OFDM, it's like having thousands of smaller, way more nimble lanes. It's just so much more flexible and tough against interference, which is exactly what you need for reliable reception on phones and tablets.
And this right here is where that OFDM tech becomes a true economic game changer. It allows for something called a single frequency network, or an SFN. What that means is multiple transmitters in a market can all use the exact same frequency to strengthen the signal and fill in coverage gaps. With the old standard, they would have just interfered with each other. This completely changes the math on the cost and efficiency of building out a broadcast network. It's huge.
The second core change is just as profound. See, ATSC 1.0 used this rigid broadcast-only data format, an MPEG-2 transport stream. Well, ATSC 3.0 just throws that out the window and instead speaks the native language of the internet, IP packets. This means broadcast can now seamlessly merge with online content, and that just opens up a whole new world of possibilities for data, for interactivity, and for hybrid services.
So you've got this new engine and a new language. The big question is, what can the platform actually do? This is where things start to get really, really exciting for both the people making TV and for us, the viewers.
Well, for the first time ever, broadcasters can actually secure their content. ATSC 1.0 was completely open, right, which is great for free TV, but it's a total non-starter if you want to offer premium content. ATSC 3.0 has digital rights management baked right in, and that is crucial. Why? Because it opens the door to business models that were just impossible before, like offering a premium subscription-only channel right alongside all your free programming.
And remember that whole IP-based thing we just talked about? Well, it transforms your TV from just a passive screen into a truly interactive platform. So instead of a basic text guide, you get this rich, app-like experience. You could see an ad for a car, and with one click, get more info. Or imagine getting live player stats sent to your tablet while you're watching the game, all perfectly synced up through the broadcast signal. Now, when you put all of this together, broadcast suddenly has a powerful news story to tell against all those streaming services. You get stunning 4K quality, you can watch on the go without torching your data plan, and you get the local news and live sports you can't find on a lot of those national platforms, all with broadcast-level reliability, and for the core service, it's still free. That's a heck of a pitch. All these new features are fantastic, of course, but they've got to be paid for somehow. And this brings us to the third, and maybe the most critical piece of this whole revolution, transforming a business model that, frankly, hasn't changed in decades.
I mean, for its entire history, broadcast television has pretty much relied on one thing: selling 30-second commercials. It's a model that worked for a very long time, but let's be honest, in the digital age, it's under immense pressure. Audiences are fragmented, and advertisers want way more precise targeting than that model can offer.
ASTC 3.0 just blows this wide open. Suddenly, broadcasters have this diverse portfolio of ways to make money. They can deliver different ads to different neighborhoods, they can sell interactive ads, they can launch subscription tiers, they can even lease out their data pipe for services that have nothing to do with TV. Like, imagine broadcasting critical software updates to every car from one manufacturer in a city, all at the same time. That's datacasting.
And really, this is the bottom line. It's about de-risking the entire business. By moving away from a single point of failure, that one revenue stream, to multiple, diversified income sources, the broadcast industry isn't just trying to survive.
It's creating brand new avenues for growth in a super competitive media landscape.
Of course, a transformation this big doesn't just happen overnight. This is a complex, it's an expensive, and it's a very long-term project. So how does a station actually go about making the switch?
Well, the best practices that we've learned from the early adopters show it's a pretty methodical 8-step journey. It all starts with a rock-solid business case and some deep technical planning. It involves complex partnerships, careful purchasing, and rigorous testing. And here's the important part. The launch isn't the finish line. Nope, it's the starting gun for a multi-year rollout of new features and just continuous optimization.
So what have we learned from the pioneers who've already done this? They offer some really critical advice. First, make sure you have a rock-solid signal for everyone before you start pushing for maximum performance. Next, get all those legal agreements locked down really early. Also, when you talk to viewers, use plain English and focus on the real benefits. Be patient with the revenue, and maybe most importantly, invest in training your engineers before you flip the switch.
Okay, this brings us to our final section. You have to remember, ATSC 3.0 isn't some static endpoint. It's designed from the ground up to be an adaptable platform for decades to come.
This roadmap shows a pretty clear path of evolution. Right now, the big focus is on rolling out 4K and getting mobile services up and running. In the near future, we're going to see more efficient video codecs and much smarter advertising. And looking further out, we're talking about 8K, AI-driven broadcasting, and eventually the sunset of the old ATSC 1.0 signal entirely. That's what leads to a fully converged broadcast internet world.
So, after this deep dive, one thing is crystal clear. For the first time in a generation, the technical foundation for broadcast television to not just compete, but to actually lead and innovate is well and truly in place.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The technology gives them the capability for a total transformation. But as the report suggests, technology alone doesn't guarantee a thing. The future of broadcasting now, well, it depends on vision, on strategy, and on the collective will of an entire industry to really embrace this change and build that future.